Assalamu alaikum, dear students, and welcome to this video in which we will dive into one of the most practical and essential concepts in marketing, which is the marketing mix. The marketing mix, as we have already seen in the lessons that we explained before this chapter, we've already referred to the marketing mix as the 4 Ps and as the toolbox, the 4 Ps that consist of product, price, place, and promotion. And we've already explained that these elements are the foundation of implementing the marketing strategy, and that you have to think of them as the plan of action of a company that are used to meet the customer needs, to create value, and to help the company achieve its goals in the marketplace. So in today's video, we will focus much more on the first P, which is the product. We will discuss what is a product, the layers that make it up, how we classify products, and the role of the branding, of course, in the product strategy. So let's jump right in and start by answering a fundamental question, that is, what is a product? So a product is much more than just a physical item. It's something that satisfies a customer's needs and wants. So it can take different forms. It might be a tangible good. It could also be an idea. Before speaking about ideas, the second elements that could form a product would be a service, of course. For example, teaching, healthcare, consulting is a service, but is also considered as a product, even though it is not tangible. So it could be intangible. A product could also be an idea or an event, or an event like, for example, Olympics in Paris are considered, of course, that it's a sport event, but it could also be considered as a product, because there's a lot of marketing strategies that support an event like this. It could also be an experience, for example, tourism experience could be considered as a product. So understanding what a product represents is very crucial, because it forms the basic of everything else in the marketing mix. Without the product, the other P's, price, place, and promotion, would have no foundation. Okay, so now let's take a closer look at the product structure. Okay, so on this slide, we see a framework that represents the 3 layers of the product, that are the core product, the actual product, and the augmented product. Let me explain these layers one by one, starting with the core product. So the core product refers to the primary benefit or the value that the product provides to the customer. It answers the question, what problem does this product solve? For example, if we think about a washing machine, the core product isn't the machine itself, but it's rather the benefit it offers, which is cleaning the clothes. This is the most basic level, and it represents why customers buy the product in the first place. Now move on the second layer, which is the actual product. This is what you see, what you touch, what you evaluate. It includes tangible aspects like the product's design, the product's features, the quality, and of course the branding. And finally, we have the augmented product. This is the layer that goes beyond the physical item, and it includes the additional benefits or services that come with it. For instance, when you buy a washing machine, you might also get free installation and warranty and so on. So together, these three layers give us a complete picture of what a product truly is. So to illustrate these layers in more details, let's stick with our example of washing machine. At its core, as I said, the washing machine offers one main benefit, which is cleaning clothes. That's the core product. As an actual product, it includes, like I said, features as design, quality, its capacity, or also the energy efficiency. These are the tangible aspects that differentiate one machine from another. And as far as the augmented level is concerned, we might see all the after-sales services, as I said, such as installation, warranty, or even the availability of spare parts and installation assistance. So this layer is what often tips the scales for customers when they are deciding between brands and when they are not really perceiving the difference between brands. Okay? Okay, so once that we understood the structure of the product, let's talk about how products are classified. So usually products would be categorized based on how customers purchase and use them. And basically there are four main types. Let's start with the convenience products. So these are what we can call everyday items that people buy frequently with very little effort, like toothpastes, snacks, bottle of water, oil. Okay, so then you have shopping products. Shopping products are items that customers compare before buying most of the time, like clothing, like electronics. They may require more thought and evaluation than convenient products. The third is specialty products. So these kind of products are very unique products, and customers, when it comes to specialty products, customers are willing to make an extra effort to purchase. For example, specialty products would be luxury brand. Okay, luxury brand are considered among specialty products. And the fourth and last one is the unsold products. So unsold products are products that are purchased very rarely because most of the time customer would not buy them unless they really feel a particular need or if they are compelled to buy them. Like, for example, life insurance or emergency services. These can be part of unsold products. So it's very important for marketers to understand these categories because the way they will promote and distribute products will really depend on how they are purchased. Okay, so it is very important to be aware of those categories. Okay, so now let's explore the product life cycle. So here in this slide, you have a typical the typical curve of the product life cycle, which shows how a product progresses through 4 stages. The first stage is the introduction, which consists of the phase in which the product is launched into the market. And as you can see, the sales are slow at first, and companies need to invest heavily in promotion to create brand awareness, because obviously the product is unknown and it needs support, especially in the communication level. Then the second stage is the growth. In the growth, sales starts to increase as more customers will adopt the product eventually. But in this stage, it is also in this stage that competitors might enter the market most of the time. Okay? Then you have the maturity, the third stage. And in the maturity, as you can see, the sales start to not to decrease, but to actually have the same start at the same level. So it doesn't decrease, but it doesn't increase. Because in this stage the market is saturated, which means that you cannot gain more customers. Most of the time in this stage, the company has reached its maximum market share. So in this stage, what company need to do is to innovate, is to differentiate. So they have to do something. The last they can do is to innovate in the design of the product, in the packaging, and in some features of the product in order to maintain their position. But sometimes the product will decline, which is the last stage, because it would sometimes you cannot avoid that the product would be outdated, or sometimes there are new technologies and the product is replaced by newer solutions. So in this situation, the company will be forced to quit and to abandon the product. So understanding where a product is in its life cycle allows companies to adjust their strategies, where it's boosting promotion, launching updates, or planning for a replacement product. So it is very important to understand in which stage the product is. Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about branding. Branding and brand is very, very important when it comes to product policy. A brand can be identified or defined as a process concerned with creating and maintaining a set of values, whether tangible or intangible, that are relevant to consumers and distinguishes it from competitors' brands. So, a brand is much more than just a logo or a name. It's the identity of a product. It includes everything from the text, the symbols, the design, to the emotional connection it creates with customers. For example, if you think about an iconic brand like Nike or Apple, their logos are instantly recognizable, and they evoke trust and loyalty among customers. A strong brand gives a product a unique identity in the marketplace. So it is very important. So, why is brand so important? Here are 5 key reasons. First, loyalty. Customers keep coming back to brands they trust. So loyalty is one of the most important reason why branding is important. Then you have value creation, because strong brands often command a higher prices, and the customer feels that by buying a particular brand, he buys a particular value. Then you have the building of the trust, or trust building. As I said, trust building means that a brand is easily recognizable and makes customers feel confident in their choices. Then you have differentiation, which is also a good reason to branding, because by differentiation, branding helps a product stand out from competitors. When you choose a particular brand, you choose it because you are thinking that this is something different from another brand. So the brand or branding is what allows the company to make differentiation from competitors. But there's another reason why branding is important, not only for customers, but it is very important also for employees, because the brand will make employees proud. A strong brand will foster the pride among employees and motivating them to represent it well. This is what is called a human resource marketing. So brands are one of the most valuable assets a company can have, as we have demonstrated here. Now here's a quick activity. Take a look at these three watch brands: Rolex, Citizen, and Casio. Now, if you had to choose one, which would it be and why? Think about the image each brand represents, the value they offer, and your personal preferences. This simple exercise highlights the power of branding in shaping customer choices. Now let's move to brand equity. Brand equity is a very, very important concept in marketing and in product policies. As a definition, we can say that brand equity is a set of assets and liabilities, which means positive and negative perceptions that are linked to a brand name and symbol that add or subtract, add if it is assets and subtract if it is liabilities, the value provided by a product or service to a firm. Okay, so this chart is outlining the three fundamental pillars of the brand equity, which are brand awareness, brand loyalty, and brand associations. These components form the foundation of a strong, valuable brand. Let's start with the first pillar, which is the brand awareness. So this refers to how familiar consumers are with the brand. It's about ensuring your brand is recognizable and what we call top of mind, which means that if we ask customers about to cite some brand, if they cite your brand, it means that your brand is top of mind awareness. Okay. And high brand awareness means that customers can easily recall or identify the brand even among a lot of competitors. So this is the first pillar. Then you have the brand loyalty, which is the second pillar. And the brand loyalty is very critical because it drives, this is what drives whether the customer will repurchase or not. It reflects the degree to which customer will repeatedly purchase a brand, and also recommend it to others. So when we say brand loyalty, it is both of repeating or repurchasing and recommending to others. Okay? And loyal customer is something very important because it will reduce the marketing costs and create profitability over time. So let's move to the third pillar, which is brand association. And brand association are we have already dealt with actually when we explain what a positioning is and the attributes of the products. All these concepts are among associations, which are actually the mental links that the customer associate or link to the brand. It's all about those mental connections that consumers make with the brand. It could include perception of quality, emotional connections, and even social identity. Social identity of the brand can be tied. The social identity that is linked or tied to the brand is also considered as a brand association. And the company should have it should make effort in order to have a unique associations that help customers make the difference with the other brands, with the brands, the competitors' brands. So together, these pillars will contribute to build brand equity. And brand equity will drive consumer preferences and allows the brand to have a special and a premium marketplace. Okay, so strong brand equity is important and will guarantee the success and that the company will have a sustainable competitive advantage. Okay. All right, let's explain the brand ownership. Actually, it's much more brand ownership, and it's not really a strategy. Okay, so let's explain that. This slide highlights the three main types of brands you'll encounter. First, you have the manufacturer brands, then the store brands, and the generic brands. Each type of ownership brand plays a distinct role in the market, and we'll explore how it differs. So manufacturer brands are the first and most important. It refers to the big and recognizable names that we all know and trust. Think, for example, of Coca-Cola. These brands, like Coca-Cola, are created and owned by the manufacturers themselves. The manufacturers control the branding, control also all the marketing and the distribution. They typically invest heavily in advertising and rely on their reputation to attract loyal customers. Unlike store brands, the store brands, which is the next ownership type of brand in ownership, are much more private labels, which means that it's products that a store or a retailer creates and sells under their own branding. For example, Margène might sell a Coca-Cola called Classic Cola Soda Drink, for example, but it would not be Coca-Cola. It will have another name and which will be sold through a Marjan label. The idea here is to offer customers a quality product at a lower price compared with the big name brands like Coca-Cola. And store brands are becoming more competitive in terms of quality and packaging, which really makes them a popular choice for consumers that are much more concerned with the costs. And the third is the generic brands. So generic brands are brands that are actually we can call them unbranded products because there are very few marketing that is associated or packaging that is associated with those products. So stores here or retailers will often sell them at the lowest price. They are typically basic and functional, and they are addressed to customers that just want the product without paying for branding or advertising. A good example of unbranded or generic brands would be a product that is labeled in Marjan. It is called Produit Économique from Marjan. So there are very basic products with very few efforts in packaging and in branding, and it concerns basic products. Produit Économique is just labeled Produit Économique. So they are great for routine or everyday items like sugar or flour, where branding doesn't really make much difference among customers. Okay, so as you can see, each type of brand ownership serve a different purpose and appeal to different consumer priorities. Whether that's brand loyalty, cost savings, or just simplicity. So together they create a diverse market where customers can find exactly what they are looking for and which really meets their needs and budget. Okay, so here is a very important slide that shows how brands choose their names, which is a key part of creating a strong identity. There are basically 6 main brand name strategies, each with a unique approach. So let's break them down, and let's first get a look on the first one, which is the individual brand name strategy. This is when a company gives each product its own unique name. For example, Procter & Gamble does this with Tidy, Gillette, Pampers, Head & Shoulders. All those examples shows that each product has its own brand. And there's an advantage here because each brand stands on its own and isn't affected by the reputation of other products in the portfolio of the company, in this case Procter & Gamble. Of course, it means also that the company is investing heavily in the branding. It is very it costs a lot for the company to adopt this strategy, but each strategy has its own advantages and drawbacks. Okay, so this is the first one. The second one is what we call the family brands. So the family brands are where all the products share the same brand name, but also has their own names. The best example I can think of is Kellogg. Kellogg is the brand of the cornflakes, So you have a lot of brands that are included in Kellogg. For example, Frosties, Choco Pops are brands that that are unique to this particular product, but also belongs to this family brand, which is Kellogg's. So this is a very particular approach because it builds a consistent brand image and makes it very easy to launch new products, since each new products will carry the established family name that is very known. Okay, so it has this advantage that it could launch new products. Uh, so let's start with, or maybe not start, but okay. So moving on with the brand name strategy. So this is a very, very important slide because it shows a key part of creating a strong identity for the company. Brand name is very important. And basically, there are 6 main brand naming strategies, each one with a unique approach. So let's start with the first, which is the individual brand names. This approach, which consists of giving each product a particular and a unique, its own and particular unique name, is when the company has several products, but each one carries its own and unique brand. For example, Procter & Gamble, which is the famous company I have already talked about in the course. Procter & Gamble has brand name like products like Gillette, Pampers, Head & Shoulders, Pantene. All those products are very recognizable and very known products, but each one is unique and has nothing to do with the other as far as the name is concerned. Each one carries its own brand equity, and the advantage here with naming each product with its own name, brand name. The advantage here is that each brand or each product isn't affected by the reputation of the other products. So, in case of a scandal with another product, it doesn't affect the other. So, it is very, very interesting. But we must also mention that it is very costly to the company because the company has to make branding efforts and marketing efforts for each one of its products. So it is very costly. So as you will see, each one of these approaches has advantages and drawbacks. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is the family brand strategy. And here I chose Kellogg, which is the best example I could think of, because with Kellogg you have the Kellogg, which is the company name, and within Kellogg you have also other names. For example, Frosties. Frosties is a unique product, but it belongs to the same family brand. Okay, so this approach builds a strong and consistent brand image, and the advantage here is that it makes it very easy for the company to launch new products, since this new product carries the established name of the company. So it is very important because the brand awareness already exists, which is the family brand. So it is we can say that the field for the brand for the new brand is easy. It is easy to make the brand known because it will refer to the company, to the family brand name, which is Kellogg. Then you have what we call the corporate brand or the umbrella brand. The corporate brand or umbrella brand means that the company gives the name for each of its products. So each product, every product of the company carries the name of the company itself. Think of Bosch, LG, most of the electronic companies, they adopt this kind of branding name strategy. You can also think of Google and Virgin. They use their overreaching name across all products and services, and this creates a unified identity that represents the company's overall values. So it has mainly the same advantages as the previous strategy. Then you have what we call the endorsed brand. The endorsed brand are brands in which the company name is included but doesn't dominate. A good example would be Nestle, with products like Nescafe, Nesquik, Nespresso. All those products start with Nes, and the Nestle names provide credibility while the sub-brands focus on their unique offerings. So this is what we call endorsed. Then you have the sub-brand. The sub-brand is a little bit different from family brand. A good example would be Dacia by Renault, excuse me. And sub-brand here is when a parent brand is used to support a specific product line. It is much more product line. Unlike family brand, when you have one product, one brand that is related to a family, for example, Dacia here is much more a product line because you have a lot of brands within Dacia. Okay, you have a lot of brands. You have Sandero, you have Logan within Dacia, and Dacia is a product line of Renault. We can think of sub brands as a brand of the product line. Okay, so sub brand targets a specific audience while still being linked to Renault's reputation. Then we have what we call co-branding, and which is very famous among companies. And this is an approach where two brands collaborate to create one unique product. A great example would be Philadelphia cream cheese with the taste of Milka chocolate. Both brands leverage each other's strength to reach a broader audience. So these are basically the strategies that shows how much thought goes into a brand name. It's more than just a label, it's a strategy to position the product in the market. So now that we've covered the product policies, it's time to move on the price policies, which will show how pricing strategies influence consumer behavior, and we will be dealing with in the next video about price policy. So please don't miss it. So see you in the next video.